Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a look outside our very snowy weather window from this afternoon. This is our Sky-Fi Tower shot looking down at downtown Wenatchee from the Cascadian in downtown Wenatchee. And boy, you can see it. We are socked in as advertised. This winter storm moved in on us about 1:30 this afternoon and snowed pretty heavily all afternoon with very slick roadways all over north central Washington. I've heard of reports around the Quincy area, very, very slick. We do expect a lot of heavy snow out of this system as well, especially in the mountain passes. Also for you folks that might be watching up in the Plain and Lake Wenatchee area, we could see several inches of snow. In fact, Stevens Pass could see 2 to 3 feet of snow. Snoqualmie Pass as well, about 12 to 18 inches of snow, about 2 to 3 inches of snow for the Wenatchee area. That could vary no matter where you are in the Wenatchee Valley. Then as you head east, that snow will be less. But in the meantime, we're going to get plenty of snow and plenty of freezing rain. And we'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories that we're following for you tonight. A nonprofit group dedicated to mountain biking says someone stole 10 bikes set aside for underprivileged kids. As expected, North Central Washington's representatives were split Wednesday on whether to impeach President Trump. And Ephrata City Administrator Jim Crago has been hired for the same position with the city of Spokane. But first, we begin tonight. The suspect in October's white powder scare at the Douglas County Courthouse got a reprieve this week. Back in October, election workers allegedly found an unidentified white powder in a ballot envelope sent by Howard Allen Lane of Waterville. Prosecutors charged him that month with prohibited acts in a voting center, but they withdrew the case on Monday, saying they need more time to test materials gathered from the courthouse and from Lane's Waterville home. Those tests are expected to take some time. The charge will be dismissed without prejudice, meaning it could be filed again depending on the results of those tests. A nonprofit group dedicated to mountain biking says someone stole 10 bikes set aside for underprivileged kids. The Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance works on trail building and bike education. On Tuesday, organizers found the bikes. Some tools and clothing were taken from a park trailer in Wenatchee with a total value of about $4,500. The bikes were purchased with local donations and designated for kids who wanted to learn to mountain bike but couldn't afford one of their own. If you have information about the theft, please call Rivercom. That number is 663-9911. Well, as expected, North Central Washington's representatives were split Wednesday on whether to impeach President Trump. In fact, all Washington's members of Congress voted along party lines, with the 7 Democratic representatives in favor of impeachment and the 3 Republicans opposed. 2 articles of impeachment were eventually approved by the House. Democratic Representative Kim Schreier of the 8th District voted in favor of impeachment, saying, quote, "History will judge this moment," unquote.
Madam Speaker, the people of Washington's 8th District sent me to Congress to fight for their families and make thoughtful, evidence-based decisions. I did not come to Congress to impeach a president, but evidence is evidence. And a balance of powers is fundamental to our democracy. On my first day in office, like everybody else here, I took an oath to uphold the Constitution and protect our country. History will judge this moment. Given all the facts before us, impeachment is the only remedy. I yield back.
Meanwhile, Republican Representative Dan Newhouse said Democrats failed to present fact-based evidence to support their case for impeachment.
Recognized. Mr. Speaker, the People's House should be better than this. We should be better than this. During a member's remarks in the Judiciary Committee, the committee's impeachment proceedings, he stated, and I quote, "To my Republican colleagues, how do you want to be remembered during this watershed moment in our nation's history?" Well, Mr. Speaker, it won't be watching sports on a laptop during official Judiciary Committee proceedings to impeach a sitting president. It won't be using expletives to refer to our president, calling for his impeachment just hours after being sworn into Congress. It won't be using the chairmanship of the once respected Intelligence Committee to distort the president's words in order to mislead the American people, and it certainly won't be using the most serious and solemn powers of Congress to overturn a legitimate national election for political expediency. No, Mr. Speaker, my fellow Republican colleagues and I won't be remembered in history for doing any of those things, because we know this is far too grave a matter for subversions such as these of our democratic republic. We should all be better than this. I yield back.
Ephrata City Administrator Jim Crago has been hired for the same position with the City of Spokane. Newly elected Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward announced the hiring on Wednesday. Crago has been Ephrata's City Administrator for 16 years and served on the Ephrata City Council prior to that. Ephrata has a population of just under 8,000 people, while Spokane has over 200,000 residents. Crago is expected to join Spokane city government shortly after Woodward assumes office in January. Coming up next, Douglas County Commissioners are on the record in opposition to the PUD's proposed new data center electrical rate increases. Wenatchee City planners want a chance to join a series of statewide workshops on making streets safer and friendlier. And as the first significant snow of the season arrives, government agencies are sending out timely reminders on how they'd like you to deal with the white stuff. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
It's a marvelous markdown at Sangster Buick GMC.
Hi, Corey Sangster, and we're ending the year with a bang. Take advantage of below market pricing on our entire used vehicle inventory. We've stocked up on a great selection of all and four-wheel drives just in time for winter. Virtually every make and model, all price point, and $49 down delivers. Pick a vehicle, pick a payment, and drive away with $49 down. Before you buy, compare price, service, and selection.
December is a marvelous markdown at Sangster Buick GMC or sangstermotors.com.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Being able to support yourself and your family is an important part of who we are. We all need to know we're able to provide ourselves with a secure future. Some job seekers have a harder time finding work. That's why Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is here, a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to help people find work. When you shop at or donate to Goodwill, you're really being a job creator, and that's a good thing for everyone's future. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Welcome back. In other news, Douglas County Commissioners are on the record in opposition to the PUD's proposed new data center electrical rate increases. Commissioners also criticize the utility for a perceived lack of transparency in the rate adjustment planning process. Kyle Steinberg wrote a letter to his PUD counterparts outlining his board's objections to the proposed rate hikes. He says they unfairly target data centers whose recent growth have added to the county's tax base. He said he was concerned at the time he wrote the letter that the PUD was poised to act on the proposed rates at next Monday's commission meeting.
I think it's really goes against, having, open and transparent, public meetings. And when you're a public utility and you're there to serve the public, I believe that's an important part of the process. I think if someone wants the opportunity to speak at the meetings, or they want to help you through your decision-making process by maybe, giving you some information that you're missing, I think that's crucial in the decision-making process. And I think, scheduling meetings during the holiday season, scheduling, meetings and then to the decision-making process in a really short period of time, and especially a meeting 2 days before Christmas, is inopportune for the public to participate. So, there's that issue that we kind of had exception with. I know at our commission, we would never think of scheduling a meeting of such importance with so little time frame, so little public awareness. and really before Christmas. So we kind of had exception with that.
So Commissioner Steinberg, when did you first become aware of these rate increases?
I became aware of these rate increases at the beginning of last week from outside sources.
It's the first you'd heard about it?
The first I'd heard about it, yeah, which was kind of another issue that we took exception with. They're talking about making broad changes, and I'm not saying that they might not be necessary, that they might not need to look at revenue stream increases. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that they haven't reached out to any of the other agencies, be it the school district, be it the county itself, the East Wenatchee Water District. Some of these effects to the data centers and crypto centers. I know for a fact that they're the water district's largest customer. So you're looking at affecting an outside agency's largest customer base. On terms of percentages, which I think is the biggest thing here, through a tax base, they are between 15 and 21% of these outside agencies' tax base. And you're looking at, imposing a rate increase that's, unsustainable for them.
NCWLIFE is working on a follow-up report to this interview. We expect to learn more from the PUD at a scheduled news conference tomorrow in East Wenatchee. PUD spokeswoman Megan Vibbert says there will be no action taken on the proposed rate adjustments at the December 23rd meeting. Wenatchee City planners want a chance to join a series of statewide workshops on making streets safer and friendlier. The city was one of 3 in Washington selected earlier this week for the Complete Streets Leadership Academy. That's a pilot program aimed at improving urban street design. It joins Airway Heights near Spokane and Arlington. Each city also gets a $10,000 award as part of the program and then has to match $5,000 of that. Well, as the first significant snow of the season has arrived, government agencies are sending out timely reminders on how they'd like you to deal with the white stuff. First, the Washington Department of Transportation says watch out for its snowplow crews on state highways. Stay at least 15 car lengths behind a snowplow and never pass a plow on the right. Chelan County Public Works says keep your garbage cans out of the path of its plows and retrieve them as soon as possible when they've been emptied. And the city of Wenatchee says take care with chemical de-icers to avoid stormwater pollution. Remove as much snow as possible before using de-icer and only use as much as needed. Also, sweep up any extra chemicals. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
Some jobs are a calling. They take passion and a devotion to the community. They're here for your kids, guiding the next generation of leaders. At Gisa Credit Union, we help you support local teachers. Every purchase you make with a Gisa Local Heroes Affinity debit card, we make a donation to select teacher organizations. After all, we can never repay them, but we can do our best to help a little with the Gisa Teachers Affinity debit card.
Come find your holiday gifts at Antique Mall at Cashmere this holiday season. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone, from coin enthusiasts to avid collectors. For do-it-yourselfers, this is the place to find your next repurposing project. What a great way to make your holiday gifts for someone special. Using your keen eye to make something old and new again. Discover your next holiday gift in the Antique Mall at Cashmere. Stop on by today.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Time now for our weekly Kennel Cameos feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Tonight, NCWLIFE's Megan McPherson helps us get to know Kaba the dog.
Hi, my name's Jenny, and I'm the volunteer coordinator for Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Today I have Kaba here with me. Hi, Kaba. He's almost 2 years old. He's a male husky. He's a friendly guy. He just joined playgroup here at the shelter, and he did really well. Yeah, you did. He came here with another dog, an 8-year-old husky named Coda. They're now in separate kennels, and they're doing pretty well. They came here because of an owner's illness, forced them here. But he's a playful young guy. He's a typical husky, so having a secured yard is highly recommended. He's still young, so he's still learning his indoor behaviors, what he can and can't do. He definitely should not be at a home with cats, though. Cats are his limitation. Kids are okay, dogs are okay. He's a sweet guy, so come on down and meet Kaba.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Don't have to tell you what it's doing right now as we take a look outside our weather window. It started snowing about 1:30 or just a little bit after that this afternoon in the Wenatchee Valley. Huge snowflakes out there. And as we look, this is about 4 o'clock this afternoon, downtown Wenatchee, looking down from our Cascadian Sky-Fi Tower camera. You can still see plenty of snow around the Wenatchee area, and that will be our situation right through the evening hours. We are under a winter storm warning right now. It went into effect at noon and will run until 4 a.m. early Friday morning. So it is going to be a messy one through the rest of our night and through most of the overnight. As far as high temperatures go today, obviously with all the clouds and snow, didn't get that warm, right at the freezing mark for a high today. 31 is our normal high temperature for this time of year. 28 our low this morning, and that's a few ticks above where we should be for low temperatures this time of year. 23 is normal. 49 was our record high set back in 2004. Record low, 4 below zero. That was set in a very cold 1984. We have picked up a trace of precipitation. Obviously, that was right after lunch or so. That's going to go up, and we will have a big total, I'm sure, for you when we get together tomorrow night at this time. Sunrise this morning, 7:44, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:12. Let's take a peek and see how our Friday will shape up. Many of you traveling this weekend, and will we see more snow tomorrow? It looks like with temperatures going to see a big warm up. In fact, almost 50 degrees in Moses Lake tomorrow, 48 at Freda, 42 in Wenatchee, Cashmere, Eniat, and Chelan. We'll also see a nice one at 42 degrees up in Omak. A warm front's moving through, and that will change our precipitation from snow over to rain. Let's take a look at that surface loop now, and I'll show you how this is all going to kind of shape up over the next 24 to 48 hours. Cloudy skies, a 100% chance of rain and snow. That's tonight. And then we'll see a rain-snow mix at times as well in our overnight hours. But that's all because of this huge area of low pressure that's bringing and swinging all that moisture right into north central, the northwestern part of the United States, I should say. Here's our Pineapple Express as it keeps moving moisture into our area. 80% chance of rain on our Friday, but it will be warmer tomorrow with temperatures in the lower to mid 40s. So any snow that we get probably will melt by the time we talk tomorrow. Saturday, a 60% chance for morning rain, but look at these mild temperatures. We could see some 50s around southeastern Washington. Not so much for us. We'll be well into the mid 40s for Saturday. Pretty nice for Sunday too. Partly cloudy skies, maybe a few isolated showers on Sunday, but as you can see, plenty of green around Washington, and that indicates 40 to 50 degree temperatures. By Monday, we'll see mostly sunny skies, warmer than normal, which means temperatures still about in the mid to upper 30s as we get into Monday. And then the important days, Christmas Eve and Christmas. Tuesday, partly cloudy. It will be slightly cooler, but if you are traveling, look at all of the clear skies around Washington State. It should be a beautiful day to travel if you are moving on Tuesday. And then Christmas Day, really no weather problems. We'll see mostly cloudy skies, really a quiet weather day with 3 storm systems out in the Pacific, but they won't affect us on Christmas or maybe your travel day the day after Christmas. Let's Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast tonight. We're not going to change temperature all that much. 30 degrees for our overnight low tonight and 80% chance for rain showers tomorrow. Remember, big warm up, 42 for our high tomorrow, 35 the low tomorrow night, 39 for the high on Saturday with a 60% chance of rain. And then as that system moves east on Sunday, we'll just see some isolated showers. Mostly sunny Monday and 37 before our temperatures get back to normal on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And by Christmas on Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a high temperature of 34. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
When it comes to our community, you can count on Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram to be invested. From supporting community college scholarships through a concert series or participating in a local high school homecoming event, Town Chrysler has always put the community first. Buying local supports the jobs and programs you care about most. When it comes time to buy your next new or used car, SUV, or truck, remember, there's no reason to leave town.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, serving North Central Washington, is proud to offer the finest heating and cooling air quality products along with prompt and professional customer service since 1984. Regardless of the temperature outside, Arctic is here for you. Arctic offers a variety of services: residential and commercial heating, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs. And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy snowy Thursday to you. We'll talk about how the snow is impacting some sports coming up in just a moment. First of all, the Wenatchee Panthers took over first place in the Big Nine with a narrow victory over Eastmont Wednesday at Eastmont Lanes. Both teams seemed to feel the pressure of facing their friendly rival in the first game, with Eastmont coming out on top 780 to 715. Wildcat junior Olivia Ellington rolled a game-high 221 to lead the way. Wenatchee's Kyla Hankins bowled a match-high 223 in the second game as the Panthers bounced back for an 867 to 771 victory. The match had a feeling it would come down to pin count yet again to determine a winner. Wenatchee won the first Baker 171 to 158, which gave the Panthers a 45-pin lead heading into the final Baker. Now Eastmont won that one 178 to 172, split the match 2-2, but Wenatchee won the overall on a pin count by 39 pins. Coach Jeremy Anders and junior Kyla Hankins joined me after the match. Do you feel any pressure at this point when you play these guys?
Not really at this point. I mean, we've bowled them for 3 years, I have, and it's fun bowling them every time.
Is it more pressure that you put on yourself maybe to roll your game?
Yeah, I definitely put more pressure on myself than I do the team against them.
Obviously important for Jaden Thompson to come back after the injury to her hand today. How important was that for you, looking at your teammate going, man, I hope we can get her back for the rest of this. If she doesn't come back, I don't know if you guys win today.
It was really important that she came back. I mean, she kind of sets me up for my end, and we kind of just hype each other up throughout the whole game. So.
Coach, I'm sure you would agree about Jaden and kind of toughing it out today.
Yeah, it was big for her to come back up there. You know, we brought Cammie up because Jaden was struggling, sent her back on JV, rest the hand a little bit, kind of get some ice on there and find her mark again. You know, we were down so much that first game that the girls, though, they piped back up there. Every one of them stepped up that second game, and we saw, I think that's their second best score of the year right there. So, I mean, everybody stepped up, and it was lights out from there.
Eastmont's anchor bowler Katie Hines finished with 2 148s. She and Coach Christy Bingy were still feeling confident despite the narrow loss to Wenatchee.
And actually, I like that because that's points for us and points against them eventually in the end. And since everybody's been tied in the league the top 3 teams, Eisenhower, us, and Wenatchee. And I don't know what Moses Lake did today because they could be tied up there too. Right. You never know. So.
Talk about Olivia came up with a big game in her first game. I think that was her second highest game she's ever rolled. Nice to have that, isn't it?
Yes. It's good to see. Nice release, good hand position, and she was relaxed. You could tell by her shoulders that she was relaxed when she was up there rolling the ball, and she was enjoying what she was doing and having fun, and that helps to bowl a good game.
Well, I almost said Samantha a few times when I was talking about you today. You guys look a lot alike. Does your sister give you any tips as far as this particular match when you come against Wenatchee?
Yeah, all the time. She's always critiquing it, but in a good way.
Okay. All right. Well, a lot of bowling left to go. You guys got to still feel pretty confident about where you are right now, don't you?
Yes, for sure.
Now, also yesterday, West Valley outpinned Moses Lake to win 3-2. So let's update the standings. Wenatchee sits alone in first at 6-2. There you have Eisenhower at 5-2, Eastmont's third at 5-3, followed by Moses Lake and West Valley at 4-3. By the way, we'll broadcast yesterday's match a week from Saturday, December 28th at 1 p.m. here on the NCWLIFE channel. Now, coming up on the sports schedule for today, Cashmere travels to Okanagan for a Caribou Trail League doubleheader in basketball tonight. Girls play first at 5:45, followed by the boys at 7:15. Of course, these are all weather permitting. Prep boys swimming earlier today. Wenatchee and Davis were swimming at Lions Pool in Yakima against Eisenhower. Hopefully those boys are able to get home okay. On the wrestling mats tonight, Ephrata travels to Ellensburg. Cascade, Chelan, and Okanagan meeting in Omak. The Wenatchee home game home wrestling match against Eisenhower has been canceled for tonight because of the snow. Well, tonight is hockey night on the NCWLIFE channel. Arch Ecker will have the call on the Wenatchee Wild and Langley Rivermen from back on November 30th at the Town Toyota Center. Speaking of which, we'll have Arch tomorrow right here on the sports program to give us a preview of the coming matchup between Alberni Valley and Wenatchee and Powell River on Friday and Saturday at the Town Toyota Center. Well, Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner were each selected to their 6th Pro Bowls as starters this week. Other Seahawks selected as alternates included left tackle Dwayne Brown, running back Chris Carson, defensive end Jadavian Clowney, and safety Quandre Diggs, quarterback Shaquille Griffin, and guard Mike Upati, as well as receiver Tyler Lockett. Coach Pete Carroll says the recognition is well-deserved.
Everybody can see it's pretty obvious. So, I mean, there's no genius coming out of this end of it helping you and saying that those guys are really the real deal. They just are. They're great players, and
hey, Malcolm,
will be they're going all-time great players, you know, and we're very fortunate to have them.
When you see those rosters come out, and you guys only have 2, I mean, are there any names that you feel like were deserving to be there?
Yeah, I think all those guys that were on there on that. You know, we put up the whole screen of all the guys that got recognition. That's all important to us because those guys a lot of times get to play in the game. But I would like to have seen, you know, more guys guaranteed that they're in the game, and they don't have to wait and see what happens with other players.
Seattle will host the Cardinals Sunday at Central League Field at 1:25. The game broadcast on Fox. That's sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And finally tonight, let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. Tomorrow, get your weekend going with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll have everything you need to start your day and start your weekend, the last weekend before the Christmas holiday. Next Wednesday, of course, we also have the winter solstice, which happens on Saturday night. So we'll have a lot to talk about on Friday. And a quick heads up, Grant, I got confirmation your Christmas present will be here in time for the holidays. But Grant, you're going to have to rent one of those industrial strength forklifts to get your present into the house. I just want to give you a quick heads up on that. Join me tomorrow, 7 a.m. live from this very studio for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel. Grant, back to you.
I'll remember that. Thanks for thinking of me, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.